All right, well, let's shift our focus now. Israeli strikes killed 15 people, including 5 children in Palestine's Gaza Strip.
Well, a school-turned-shelter was hit in Nuseirat refugee camp, killing 6 people, including 2 women and 1 child, who were all taken to the Al-Aqsa hospitals. Now, Gaza's civil defense said another strike hit a tent sheltering displaced Palestinians. Rescuers recovered 2 of those killed and 2 others who were injured in Khan Yunis. They were taken to Nasser Hospital, according to Gaza Health Ministry. 43,985. That's the figure as of now that Palestinian authorities have shared. This is the number of people that have been killed in the war so far, and 104,092 others have been injured since the war began on the 7th of October last year. Meanwhile, the United States vetoed a UN resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire in the war in Gaza, saying that the resolution was not linked to an immediate release of hostages taken captive by Hamas in Israel in October 2023.
Now, the Palestinian envoy to the United Nations strongly criticized the U.S. decision, saying that there was no justification for Washington's veto.
We could not support an unconditional ceasefire that failed to release the hostages. Because, as this Council has previously called for, a durable end to the war must come with the release of the hostages. These 2 urgent goals are inextricably linked. This resolution abandoned that necessity.
There's no justification whatsoever for vetoing a resolution trying to stop atrocities. No justification for that.
Furthermore, fire blazed as Israeli forces conducted a military operation in the village of Kafirdan in the north of the occupied West Bank.
According to the Palestinian Red Crescent, at least 1 person was killed by Israeli gunfire during the military operation.
In northern Israel, the area surrounding a kindergarten remained closed on Wednesday after a rocket fired from Lebanon struck near the building. Israeli police said a Hezbollah rocket fell outside the empty kindergarten in the northern city of Acre, causing damage but no injuries.
Meanwhile, Hezbollah chief Naim Qassem delivered a defiant speech on Wednesday, saying Israel cannot impose conditions for a truce in Lebanon. As visiting U.S. envoy Amos Hochstein headed to Israel to try to negotiate an end to the war, he also vowed that the response to recent deadly Israeli strikes on Beirut will be on central Tel Aviv, Israel's densely populated commercial hub.
We have prepared for a long battle and we are negotiating now, but because we're under fire, as they say, Israel is also under fire.
On the other hand, Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar said any ceasefire deal must ensure Israel still has the freedom to act against Hezbollah.
Unfortunately, Lebanon is a failed state, but we cannot pay the price in our security and the security of our citizens for their lack of sovereignty or concessions on the sovereignty, and therefore, in any agreement we will reach, we will need to keep the freedom of to act if there will be violations.
Now, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Listen to this.
The United States says that its veto of the resolution today is rooted firm in security and accountability. The resolution failed to directly tie the ceasefire to the release of hostages by Hamas, something the U.S. sees as a non-negotiable. Officials argued that the resolution also didn't go far enough in condemning Hamas as a terrorist organization, including targeting civilians and using them as human shields. The U.S. stressed that while humanitarian aid is essential, stronger measures need to be in place to ensure that the aid doesn't fall in Hamas's hands, a concern the resolution didn't adequately address. This veto ultimately underscores America's unwavering support for Israel and its commitment to ensuring that any ceasefire is not compromised and the terrorists aren't emboldened. Now, critics argue that this delays critical aid to Gaza. The U.S. maintains that an unbalanced resolution could worsen the situation in Gaza. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION The World.